going on, everyone? Thanks for stopping in. So it's getting to be that time of year where I really don't want to go outside because it's really cold. You just saw I had the heater going. But I got some updates for you on the TBSS or NNBS intake swap. I went to Tractor Supply, picked up, let's see if what they did with it. Anyway, it's 3/4 by 1/8 steel. I think we're going to make our little leg or support leg with this. And I apologize. I didn't take you guys along. I actually did drive the truck the other day, not very far. We have a gas station like 2 miles down the road. I took it there just to put some fresh fuel in it. And the engine light came on. The engine light said system too rich, so I'm not going to drive it. And I ordered different rails. I'll explain that here in a minute once we open the hood and look at it. But first, I will show you guys it moving under its own power. Now that it's done, I'm going to put it back in the driveway, in the Honda, off the driveway. First things first, here is what I did with the throttle cable bracket. I cut this upper tab off, and there's no hole in the middle. I measured with some calipers from the inside of each of these holes, and it was just past middle forward. And then I drilled a hole. It held fine, but you see it's a little loose. So what I was going to do is get this flat bar, and you have to bend it down this way and up that way to make that little step, and then just have it welded. You know, take it off, paint it, make it look good. The cruise control, that I don't know. I think it has to be shortened, and this doesn't exactly fit in there, but we'll mess with that later. I went ahead, some of you may have noticed I had a catch can sitting on the bench for a while. I installed it just because I needed the system hooked up. Yeah, PCV. I'll do a video once I get the other side. I don't have the other side yet. I just had the factory hose. Once I do have the other side, I will do an install video. This isn't very hard, but yeah. So don't worry about that. And now about the fuel rails. Like I said in the last video, I was not happy with the setup. It works. I've driven it. Not crazy about it. What I ended up doing was buying the fuel rail off of a non-flex fuel truck. This fuel rail, I guess, is off of a flex fuel. The tabs are on the mounting tabs are on the inside of the rails. The non-flex fuel are on the outside, and the non-flex fuel have longer cups like these deals. Flex fuels have bigger injectors. So, in the fuel rails I bought, it was used, and they're coming with used injectors. I'll see if those work, or my factory injectors work, or the 8.1s. Maybe that'll be enough, because we're pretty high in elevation here. We're not like down by sea level by any means. So I might be able to get away with the 8.1s. If not, we'll upgrade, but we'll see if they work first. And to this, the Corvette filter, what I decided I'm going to do is get rid of that, and we're going to do a fuel pressure regulator. So I might have to move the horn. This is for the alarm system. I just moved that guy somewhere else. So I bought a couple of the fittings I need to adapt the fuel rails to the fuel pressure regulator. It's not going to be very hard. It'll be a lot cleaner and a lot better setup. No cutting or modifying of the fuel rail like I had to for this thing. And I won't have that nasty kink back there. So here is my super detailed drawing or rendering of the fuel system I'm going to be attempting to put together. So here I have the factory fuel lines. I have these two fittings which I purchased. Normal hose ends, 6AN hose. The fuel pressure regulator, a 90 on the bottom, because the one I'm going with, the return comes out the bottom, so I'll need a 90 to go back to the factory return rail. Another one fitting there. Fitting coming out, which I actually, some of you guys that have been following along for a while will remember that I bought some 8AN hose and a fitting on the end. And it was the wrong size, obviously, but I do have the quick connect, or not quick connect, but the fitting from the LS fuel rail to an 8AN. So I think this guy, I already have the fittings I need. There's a factory fuel rail, which this will go onto, and we'll need that there. Now this will be the hose that goes back to the fuel pressure regulator. This will be the pressure to the rails. So I just need the hose end that goes from 8AN down to 6AN, which the fuel pressure regulator that I'm purchasing comes with the AN threads on it on all three sides. So I just need to attach accordingly. I'll grab these guys real quick. Here's part numbers if anybody thinks it's a good idea and they want to start tackling it. Beat me to it. The 3/8 is the feed, 5/16 is the return. So essentially what it's doing is mimicking the fuel rails. So these will go into the factory rails right where I said that they're kinked, where I don't like it. These will plug in there, convert them to AN fittings. Yeah, so I'll show you how these work. So this has an O-ring in it. You probably cannot see it because it's black, just like the color of this. It's all black. So that goes over here. And tighten down, and there you go. So this will not be plugging into that. That's just mimicking the rail. Right here, the factory rail. Now I am a little concerned about jumping up from the 6 to the 8AN hose. I'm afraid I'm going to lose pressure. I don't think I'll have a problem because it necks it back down at the fuel rail. So once this is pressurized, it shouldn't lose its pressure, I guess. But I have it. I don't have to spend it. I already spent the money on it, so I'm going to try it. Hopefully it works. If it works, I'm going to roll with it. If not, then I'll have to get 6AN. But if it works, it works. But if I were to do it all and didn't have these parts, I would just do 6AN everything, not even worry about it. Now I realize I'm definitely like backtracking by putting things on, taking them off, but I'm doing it for you guys. So that way, You learn from my mistakes, learn from my trials and tribulations. That way you guys can do it right the first time instead of putting stuff on and taking it back off 20 times like I do. So you're welcome. So that little rail fitting I was talking about is one that goes right over here. This is another option. That piece I showed you is about 18 to 20 bucks depending on what brand. This one is like 12 bucks. I mean, it's not really that much more expensive, but some people always look for the cheapest option. So if you're looking for the cheapest option, this would be the cheapest option. But this is, feed return on the factory style fuel rail. The fuel rail on my truck and the one I ordered is just feed. So that's why we need the regulator to return the excess fuel. But for this setup, this is adapting the factory 90s, 96 and up Chevy 350 block, whatever, fuel lines to the LS. But I have a video on that if that's something you guys want to check out, if you're in the process or thinking about doing an LS swap. And before I forget, if you don't follow my Instagram, follow it. It's Endless Wishlist 6.0. But we did a question or survey, I guess, and this was the font that won. So decals are on the way, guys. I ordered them. He said sometime next week. So after that, we'll have some for sale. Now, when I ordered them, I didn't get the YouTube or Instagram logo, whatever, in front of it. I just did Endless Wish List for 2 reasons. One, and not everybody wants to promote my channel. And 2, I think it's kind of a cool way that I can relate to you guys, because this truck was not very expensive, and I put probably about as much money into it as I paid for it. It's a lot more relatable, and a lot of you guys have your own endless wish list. So you can do that. People ask, be like, yeah, it's a YouTube guy I follow, or just be like, hey, it's my truck, it's my endless wish list. So if you want one, I will. I don't have a website, not yet anyway. So we'll have to do them through PayPal or something. But for now, follow my Instagram and then message me through there, and we'll figure it out. But wait for me to tell you that I have them first. Don't start messaging me now because I don't have them yet. So once I get them, I'll let you guys know. Then they'll be open for. I'll be open for business. So back to the truck. Some of you guys may have noticed that my vacuum gauge is not working. That is because I did not hook it back up to this intake manifold. On these intake manifolds, it's almost like they planned for it, or maybe there's a different application they use it for. But there's a little like twist off tab with a flared fitting or whatever that a hose can slide over. I'll show you here in a second. It's really convenient because this gauge it's just a manual vacuum gauge, so you just have a little tiny hose running to it. And it was the same size, so I just twisted the little tab deal off, and I actually cut it with a razor, make sure it was nice and clean and had a good opening for whatever reason. But yeah, I'll show you guys that right now. Right there. And it's like a little tab. I haven't done it yet because I'm going to take that gauge out, because that one is a 7 series and the oil temp is a 10 series. I know it's like a super stupid reason to do it, but I am going to take out the 7, put a 10, that way they match. Yeah, so the 10 series comes with a little control module that just has a wire going to the gauge, not a vacuum line. So I'm waiting to get that before I hook it back up, because I'm not sure exactly how it works. I don't want to tear that off if I don't need it, but I mean, it's got to get reference from somewhere. But just so I don't mess anything up, I have to do things more than once like I'd like to do anyway. We're just going to wait. All right, so hopefully next weekend we'll have, more going on with the 6.0, with the throttle cable bracket. Hopefully we can get that, welded up or at least mocked up. I don't know. But more importantly, I think before that, I'd be happy with getting the fuel rail situation and injector situation, taken care of. I'm not happy with the setup. So it kind of sucks. We just got it running, and it's killing me because I want to drive it and I want to get it tuned, but I don't want to, just like everything else, don't want to do it, go through the trouble, and then end up changing it later. So I'm going to do it right the first time this time. We're going to get the fuel pressure regulator, the new rails, buy the fittings. So, I mean, that'll probably have to wait next weekend-ish. So thank you for stopping in, and I'll let you guys know about the decals as soon as I know more. If you want any of those, you're interested, check out my Instagram, Endless Wishlist 6.0. The last video, I forgot to add the 6.0, but you probably found it anyway. But that's it. Thanks for stopping in. I'll see you guys next time.
How you doing, buddy?